Hi everybody. So, I'm going to talk about today. I don't know if you saw on the news recently about an auction in Dallas that was auctioning off the permit to shoot a black rhino. Now, black rhinos are the rarer of the two rhinos. The white rhino is more common. And there's about 4,000 black rhinos left, and basically they auctioned off a permit to shoot one. And why the fuck would they ever do that, you might say? And I can understand your thinking on that one. And a lot of people also protested about it outside of the place. There's been death threats that the FBI had to get involved with and stuff like that. And yeah, I agree with you, it's not a nice sounding thing. However, there is a reason why they do it. Now, this is not me justifying it or agreeing with it. I'm just saying this is why these things happen. Basically, the particular rhino that they're talking about is an old rhino that's become aggressive and is killing younger rhinos. So you can tell from that that one rhino not being in existence would mean that other younger ones would survive, which is better. And the other reason it is because they auction off the permit for $350,000, which goes back into conservation. So in the death of shooting one rhino, you help protect the younger rhinos, and you also bring an awful lot of money, which wouldn't come from anywhere else normally, in that much of a chunk, into the conservation of the animal. It seems very counterintuitive to shoot something you're trying to protect, but you have to understand, for those reasons, it does work out. It's the same as why some people have shot elephants recently and leopards and all of these things. The conservation parks, because they can't afford to just run themselves, they need a lot of money, they allow one or two or a few of their animals to be shot for a vast amount of money, which means that amount of money, through the death of that one animal, they have enough money to help protect the species and, protect more of them longer term. So it does make sense, but it doesn't seem very nice, I'll admit. Of course, the knee-jerk reaction to that is to say, well, this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing that, blah, blah, blah. Where else is the money going to come from? And this is one of the hard parts of conservation. Because you think, oh, well, there may be some other way of getting the money in. But, there's tourism, but it just doesnn't bring in that sort of a chunk of change. I am very, very much against hunting. Even though, I'm interested in firearms, I'm interested in the technology and the engineering of the firearms. You don't have to shoot things, living things, with a gun, even though I suppose that's what they were technically designed for in the early days. As you know, I own an air rifle. That air rifle, the day that I bought it, guaranteed that it was never going to kill anything, because I will never kill anything with it. So that's what I mean by guns aren't necessarily bad, it's what you aim them at and pull the trigger. And that's down to the person holding the gun. And there are people out there that, go out and they shoot a deer in season, and then they'll put all the meat in their freezer and they'll have plenty of meat for the rest of the year. There's nothing wrong with that. The people that hunt for food and only shoot, say, one or two animals, and they eat all of it, and they may even use the skin for, for leather or to make things out of, to reuse as much of the animal as they can, I can understand that. Because people say, oh, you can just go to the supermarket buy it, you don't have to shoot it. To be honest with you, a wild animal which is out walking around doing its job, and the next thing it knows, boom, it's dead, has had a nicer life than a cow in a field. And of course, that's the nice end of things. It could be something as nasty as, being kept inside in sheds. So hunting itself, I don't necessarily disagree with, as long as you're only taking what you need and it's put to good use. It's the people who go out and shoot things for no reason whatsoever is the ones I can't understand. I love the way that person was beeping at them. It's like, no, we're trying to let the ambulance through. You're allowed to do things in that situation. Jesus! That's taxi drivers for you. I saw that happening. I was like, I wouldn't have gone there. Oh, there we go. Conservationists do have a really tricky life trying to get the balance right between doing what's right and helping the species, but keeping people happy, because if people don't understand why it's happening, like the people who were protesting outside of this place in Dallas, they were very misinformed, obviously. They didn't realise that the benefits to the species. I know one individual will get shot. Another thing about this sort of hunting is they tend to be within about 100 yards. It's just like, drive up to it and it stood there going, I'm a rhino, I'm not going to fucking move. And then they're just like, bang, oh yes, I feel like I've earned my $350,000 in my hunting efforts. It's not skilled hunting. That's just walking up to it and shooting it. In my Q&A I talked about Sea Shepherd. Now Sea Shepherd are doing good things, although they have in the past done some things which would be considered a little bit silly. Their tactics generally are to do things, disruptive things, like get in the way, try and stop them from harpooning whales. They've even put themselves between the harpoon and the whale before now. They also do this thing where they throw this chemical on. There's basically like washing up liquid that it's very concentrated, and when it's on the deck, as soon as water hits it, you just can't walk around on the deck. You know, Sea Shepherd's job is very difficult because they're trying to police the seas by themselves, because there's no real sort of enforced international law on the seas, like what I was talking about with whaling. Whaling is internationally outlawed, but the Japanese have a way around that, which is they say it's scientific research. But if the animal that they're getting for scientific research ends up on someone's dinner plate, that's not really scientific research. Although I suppose then they can say, oh, well, at least it was going to some use. But it's like, well, no, because then you're creating a demand for something. You're continuing a supply. And yeah, as I say, Sea Shepherd's got a bad rap in the past before now because they kind of went too far. And it wasn't necessarily Sea Shepherd themselves, it was individuals. Like a guy who was firing arrows from a bow at a whaling vessel. Just asking for trouble, because that could be seen as attempted murder. That's not going to help the cause. And the people within Sea Shepherd are voluntary normally, as I understand it, or they may all be voluntary. And you will get mavericks who are on a bit of a crusade that will go further than others because they think that's the thing that's going to do it. Oh, I'll make a difference if I can, you know, endanger the lives of the people doing it, blah, blah, blah. You're just really endangering the lives of the people on the boat with you. So yeah, conservation is a tricky subject, and it's very difficult to get the balance right between doing what's right for the animals and doing the best thing for the animals in the long run, and keeping the general public happy who don't actually understand the whole system and think that all they're doing is just shooting a rhino and making money from it. Yes, anyway, the stickers, they're going to be available in different sizes, some different colours, and we're currently working on getting them done. It should only be a couple more weeks, I would have thought. But watch this space, just to let you know they are coming. If you're interested in buying one, say so, just so we get an idea on numbers.